The last Star Wars movie. Yes, we are here. This is the last Star Wars movie to review. And I gotta say, it's been quite an interesting journey. I can't believe I actually went and did this, but I did. I reviewed every Star Wars movie. And now here we are at the last Star Wars movie in the trilogy. Of course, there's still the holiday special, the Clone Wars movie, and then there's the Rebels movie. But this is the last Star Wars movie when it comes to live action and the Skywalker saga in general. Now, of course, we had those one-off films and stuff that were not related to the Skywalker, movies at all. But my point is, this is the last official live-action Star Wars movie that we're going to be reviewing. So, yeah. You guys know the drill. If you guys want to be notified for future videos, remember to subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it a lot. I really would. And, so you guys know, I'm at 270 subs right now. Thank you guys for the support. Yes, I finally was able to look at my sub count to figure out how many subs I have. So, yeah. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. I really do. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this. This is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. So how is this movie? How is it compared to the other two? Which I'm talking about the sequel trilogy, by the way. Well, I gotta say, unfortunately, I don't think this movie is really much better. Where The Force Awakens felt like a rip-off of like A New Hope and all that, and The Last Jedi was just an absolute dumpster fire. This movie, I actually watched it. I watched it so I could do this review, and I gotta say, it is also a dumpster fire. Yeah, this movie's not very good either. Surprisingly, I don't think it's as bad as the Last Jedi. That movie was awful. That movie was just, the characters were all unlikable, and I just didn't care about the movie. This one, though, is just a mess. It's just all over the place as well, just like the last one. But I suppose I can try to fill in some details about this movie, at least, watching it and tell you guys exactly what is going on in this movie. So, the last movie has Kylo Ren getting defeated by Luke Skywalker, because for some reason Luke Skywalker decided not to actually face him himself. He just uses his Force energy or something, which, by the way, makes no sense at all why he didn't just go face his nephew, on his own instead of using the damn Force. But hey, I don't question that. I shouldn't even question how it's even possible to freaking teleport yourself like that. But anywho, it leaves Kylo Ren angry, and apparently we pick up with this movie him fighting Palpatine. Yeah, that's right. We're starting this movie where he's just fighting Palpatine. There's no setup or anything. He's just suddenly like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go find Palpatine, I'm gonna go find Palpatine, the guy, the evil Empire guy who freaking, caused a lot of chaos, killed all the Jedi and all that, And I'm just like, why couldn't they build this? I know people are pissed that this movie here has Palpatine returning. Now, personally, I think that's lazy, but I wouldn't mind it too much if they actually build it up. If they freaking build this movie up to where we see, Palpatine. They don't build it up at all. They don't build it up at all. They just throw them in there out of nowhere. And I'm just like, it makes no sense. It still would be lazy, but it'd be a lot better if they actually had a story and actually build it up, but they don't. And you can argue, well, there's books. Because my uncle was like that, like books. And I'm like, I don't want to freaking read to know about this. I shouldn't have to read a damn book to know about what the hell was going on. And I understand that the past movies, the original trilogy, the prequels and all that, and the Clone Wars had stories, they had books, stuff that, wasn't in the movies. But those are okay because those are not like huge scenes. Palpatine returning is a huge scene that they could have easily built up. The problem is they had no plan. They had no plan with this damn film or the sequel trilogy in general. They just fucking throw them in there out of nowhere. And by the way, this movie's titled wrong, by the way. It's titled wrong. It should be called The Rise of Palpatine, not The Rise of Skywalker. Because this freaking movie has got nothing to do with the Skywalker characters at all. It's got nothing to do with the Skywalker characters at all. It's basically just about Rey and... Yeah, by the way, Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter, despite Palpatine, never having a wife. He never had a wife. And all that. I mean, they can make him maybe Rey's. Maybe it could be his like great niece or something. But even then, like, we never see Palpatine's family and all that. Like, I mean, it's possible he could have a family, but I'm like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like how he has a freaking granddaughter or even a niece whatsoever. Which, by the way, Palpatine Rey's actually supposed to be Palpatine's, granddaughter. It's not his niece. I'm saying it'd make more sense if it was his niece because he never had a wife, but hey, I don't freaking know. I don't know what the hell is going on with this movie. It's really confusing and all that. It's not frustrating. It's not frustrating like the last one. The last one was a fucking pile of shit is what it was. It was a pile of shit. But this one is a pile of shit too, but this one's more confusing than anything. It's more confusing. Like if you watch this film after watching the other two, you're gonna have a really hard time following along exactly what's going on. But yeah, it just makes no sense at all. But speaking of Palpatine, speaking of him, he looks freaking creepy in this movie. He looks freaking creepy as hell. Like, he looks creepy. Like it's kind of hard to even see him really well because he's in an area where like the light's constantly flickering off and on. But he looks so creepy. I know like in like Revenge of the Sith and all, they made him like they Mace Windu, electric him, and Palpatine was electrocuting, Mace Windu, and Mace Windu blocked his lightning attack, and he ended up getting his face all screwed up, but although he looked creepy there, he didn't look horrifying. Here he just looks fucking horrifying. Like with his eyes and all that, he just looks fucking horrifying. Like, he does look horrifying, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't make much sense of why he's returning, because George Lucas clearly wanted him dead, because that's how the Return of the Jedi was. He was supposed to be, dead and all that, but I guess Disney wanted to bring him back and all that, so yeah, but it makes no sense at all, and yeah, that's not the only problem with this movie. You know how the last movie they played with the Force, they made shit up and all that, like with Luke teleporting and all that and all that stuff. Well, apparently they could fucking teleport objects now. Yeah, they could fucking teleport objects. Apparently Kylo Ren fucking in one scene takes Rey's necklace. Like, how the hell is that even possible? Like, he takes fucking Rey's necklace, like, that she's wearing, and just takes it out of fucking nowhere. And I'm just like, it's just like they're just making shit up at this point. They're really making shit up. I'm like, I just don't fucking get it. It's so fucking confusing. It's just fucking confusing. And then we also got, let's see what else we got here on my list here. Oh yeah, apparently I don't know about the Last Jedi. I wasn't paying attention because C-3PO wasn't really in the movie that much, but I know C-3PO is in this movie a lot, and C-3PO, which by the way is kind of cool. It's nice to have him in the movie more. I mean, despite him being kind of, he kind of complains a lot, he's still a pretty cool character, but basically C-3PO has no red arm. Yeah, they completely forgot about his red arm, which, by the way, they never fucking explain how he got a red arm in the first place. He just has a red arm, they never explain it. He just has a red arm, and then, like, in this movie, and maybe The Last Jedi, he has, like, a gold arm. So, I'm like, what happened to his red arm? And how did he even get his red arm in the first place? I really don't know. It's just fucking confusing. It really is. It's all fucking really confusing, and I just don't get it. I must have trying to see what else I have wrote down here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I also should mention too another problem I have with this movie. Sorry, it took me a second to read it. Honestly, before I continue on, I'm gonna state like one thing, I was doing this. I was watching the movie at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. My dad had a kidney stone attack. I was worried I was gonna have to go to the hospital with him, but his mom, which was my grandma, which I call Mama, took him to the hospital. So I went back home. I could not sleep, so I decided to watch the movie because I was concerned about him, and I watched this. So I kind of wrote some of this writing's kind of a little bit bad, and even then, like when I'm watching a movie, I'm kind of in such a hurry to write stuff down because it goes scene after scene. It's kind of hard to write down stuff very well for me because when I'm rushing, I write kind of sloppy. So I just wanted to point that out because I never mentioned that before about the writing. But yeah, that's kind of why I'm like trying to read that and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah. But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and also say this too, that I was reading this, and yeah, I noticed this movie also has like a moment where they thought Chewie was dead, and then the very next scene, like not like I think like about a minute later into the movie, they reveal Chewie's alive, but the other characters are upset Chewie's dead. Now, I understand movies do that sometimes. They do that sometimes, but, like, I don't know, it felt a little too quick. Like, they reveal that somehow Rey and Kylo Ren are able to fucking pull a ship out like that's, like, miles in the air down. I mean, I get Yoda picked up a ship, but that was a crash landed. Like, Luke crash landed that on a swamp. This just feels a little bit too forced. But I mean, even in the 2D Clone Wars show, which by the way, I did finally get to watch all of that, and because I got it at Slackers and all that, and their force power is very strong there. But I just think it's kind of silly they can just use the force in the air like that. That just makes it a little too powerful, you know. I mean, like what if a criminal like a bounty hunter escapes or something, you know? I'm like, what if they escape, you know? They escape and all that, you know, I just don't know. I think that just, they try to escape and they can just use the force and to take the ship back down. I feel like that makes it kind of broken, you know, like, they did this in the 2D cartoon too. They made the force very broken. I don't feel like it works. But that's one thing that even George Lucas did in the 2D cartoon. So that's something that George Lucas definitely did, but I still don't agree with because I think it makes it too broken, you know, that when Mace Windu and other Jedis can do that, it just makes it very broken. But yeah, they use a ship, then Rey uses gets lightning out of her hands out of nowhere, and from anger, and she literally like, you know, fucking blows the ship up, which, by the way, it should be cool, but I'm like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, well, they kind of build up, you know, in this movie that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter, granddaughter, yeah, so, they kind of point that out in this movie, despite them, again, not mentioning it in the other movies, but I do know that it kind of feels like a bit forced because it makes Rey feel very overpowered, which I know people are complaining Rey's a Mary Sue. She kind of is, but I don't think she's a very frustrating character. I just wish they, again, they would have, build her up more and all that, made her, have more powers. But I'll get to that towards the end of the video. But yeah, she blows up the ship Chewie's in, and then Chewie's apparently alive, but they reveal it too fast, and I just feel like it's just I feel like they need to give it a little bit more time on the movie and all that. But yeah, I just don't really get that. But I was trying to see what this says here too. Oh yeah. I also want to bring this up too. This is actually the last thing on my list that I have. Because after a little while, I kind of dozed off because I was like, what the hell is going on with this movie? But I did notice this too, because people were complaining about this in the prequels, how a lot of times the characters, I don't think I actually brought that up. I don't remember bringing that up. I probably should have, but actually, I think I did bring that up. But the prequels, the characters don't seem to have much emotion, whenever they just do stuff. That's kind of what happens with Rey, with this one gal, which by the way is supposed to be, she hates Poe. She does hate Poe, but again, Poe, they never bring her up at all. I mean, they never brought Lando up in the first movie either, but they kind of build it up. They kind of just crash. I mean, they kind of just go on this planet and all that, and they meet Poe's someone who hates Poe, which, by the way, the scene is very rushed, and she just suddenly forgives him, and she disappears in the movie, which I'll bring that up in a second, but I want to bring this up first. Basically, Rey, threatens to, kill her with her lightsaber because she tried to fucking try to hurt them. And then she has no emotion. She's just all calm about it. That doesn't feel right. Especially consider Rey has a lot of emotion in this movie, She has a lot of emotion in this movie. So I'm like, why does she just feel suddenly calm when she's trying to kill someone who's freaking trying to kill her? I mean, I don't know. She's just talking all calm and stuff. It feels like Daisy Ridley was just at this point just about tired of her character and was just I don't know, she just seemed it seemed a bit off. I mean, I get that, when they killed, when Mace Windu and all, was threatening to, kill Jango Fett in the second movie, he didn't have super angry emotion, but you could tell on his face that when he was threatening to kill him on Geonosis, he had in the when they was on the stadium, you could tell that he was actually mad and all. But Rey talking all calm and stuff just makes it feel awkward. But yeah, speaking of the characters, that girl and the other characters, they really don't focus on them much at all. This movie focuses on Finn, Poe, Rey, and C-3PO. For some reason, R2-D2 doesn't come with them. Despite, R2-D2 being a big part of the prequels and the original trilogy. I mean, maybe it's because they got this new BB, unit, looking robot, which, by the way, I didn't never mention him, that I do kind of like him. He's kind of adorable, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of adorable, but I would like to see R2-D2 join along too, But they never really use him. R2-D2, honestly, in these movies has had hardly anything to do in the movies. And Force Awakens, he's all shut down. He's shut down, and then and he doesn't turn back. He just turns back on out of nowhere. BB doesn't even revive him. He just turns back on. Because BB does revive a robot in this movie, but he just turns back on out of nowhere. And then The Last Jedi, he's in one scene with Luke, showing Luke a message. And in this movie, he has nothing to do with the movie until he gives back C-3PO's memories, which, yeah, by the way, C-3PO did lose his memories. And the characters don't seem to really care too much. They kind of care, but then they kind of don't. They kind of go back and forth. Poe is kind of, it just seems kind of just, I don't know. this movie's just all over the place. Like, it literally just jumps from scene to scene way too fast and all that. And yeah, the prequels kind of did this too, but there were still a lot of scenes that they focused on that was really good, and I like that. But yeah, this movie, the scenes are just all over the place. They really are all over the place. They really are. And yeah, so yeah, they're basically all over the place and all that, and it just feels forced. A lot of stuff in this movie feels forced because everything's all over the place. You know, it just all feels forced. Like, you know, like some of these scenes and all that, and then we got, you know, like they like a lot of the characters are kind of forgotten about and all that. I just don't really get it. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention this, but Leia dies in this movie. She dies. I wasn't too heartbroken, you know, because I was like, you know what? I mean, it's probably for the best because of what they do to her in The Last Jedi. They kind of destroyed her character, made her unlikable and all that. But I mean, in this movie, she's at least somewhat likable. She's training Rey and all that. But like, basically, you're probably asking, how does she die? Well, apparently she uses all her Force energy up. She uses all her Force energy up to turn Kylo Ren back to the dark side, which, by the way, is a stupid scene because you know, it's a stupid scene because, you know, Kylo Ren is, well, it's a stupid scene because she only mentions his name, and then it's enough to turn back. I'm not joking. They literally do that. They just have her talk to him by mentioning his name, and then she just dies. Like, I really don't get that. Like, that's how Luke died too. Luke and Leia both died the same way. They used too much of their Force energy, and they just fucking die. I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, that's a stupid way for them to die. Like, I really don't know why the hell they decided to kill them like that. It just seems stupid. Like you know, I really don't get that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, we don't see Leia. We don't see Leia. We don't see her fight her son. It would have been cool to see Leia fight her son. Maybe Kylo Ren or Sidious killed them. Killed, you know, maybe they killed her or something. That would have made more sense. That would have been going from Luke. If Kylo Ren killed Luke too, that would have made more sense. Instead of just fucking having Leia, like, have nothing to do in this movie and then just kill her off in a stupid way. So yeah, and I gotta say, I didn't write this down though either, but there's also a problem with like some of the scenes, like where like Rey's on this ship, Rey's on this ship, and you know, Kylo Ren's like talking to her and all. This is, I think this is the scene. I could be wrong. It's been a few days since I've seen this movie, but there's a scene where you know, I told you guys where somehow Kylo Ren and other characters use the Force are able to pull objects out of nowhere. But like Kylo Ren's like talking to her and like through his mind, and it keeps flipping back and forth from scenes. It's showing like Kylo. I mean, you could argue maybe like, cause they did this in the last movie too, like where they, you know, flip back and forth from scene, like different places and stuff. But they do it here where it feels a lot worse because somehow like Kylo Ren appears on the ship. You can argue maybe it's visions, maybe Rey's having visions of Kylo Ren there, but it flips back and forth from him at one spot to another too fast, like way too fast. And I'm just like, I just don't really get this at all. I really don't get why they decided to create the scene like that. Why not just do what they did in the last movie, you know? Like show Kylo Ren on the other planet, instead of just showing him in the same ship, like some scenes where he's in the same ship as her, despite him not being there, and it flipping back and forth from scene to from location to location, you know, making it feel very forced, you know. And that goes for the Palpatine scene. By the way, Palpatine has hardly anything to do with this movie. Palpatine just shows up in a couple scenes, and that's it. He shows up in a couple scenes, and then he's like defeated at the end. But basically, you know, when they're with Palpatine, it's so bad because like it's just, I mean, yeah, I told you guys his design, you know, looks very hideous. I mean, scary, not hideous. It looks horrifying and all that, and all that. But like, I kind of miss the scene, like, or I kind of miss seeing his horrifying looking face once you get to the scene where freaking Rey encounters him, because like it just fucking has like the lighting effect, like flickering off and on. It is fucking dark as hell, and it looks really bad. Like, it looks fucking horrible. And by the way, apparently Kylo Ren is now a good guy because he contacted with Solo. And I mean, it's cool they brought back Solo, by the way. Yeah, they brought back Han Solo for one scene. I'm not sure if that was actually him or if they used someone else that sounded like him, or if they used computers, because now they can, you know, use computers to alter people's voices or something, or use people's voices like Darth Vader and all that, like James Earl Jones. Which, by the way, is creepy. I don't know. I don't like how people can do that now, but it's creepy. But it just shows you how far technology has gone in good and bad ways. But they brought him back, and I'm like, why didn't they bring back Hayden Christensen, you know, or Anakin Skywalker in general? There was actually a scene where they were gonna bring him back, but they deleted it. They fucking deleted it. And I'm like, why? Why did they fucking delete this? I saw it on YouTube, and I'm like, that would have been much better. I mean, I know Han Solo was Kylo Ren's son, but I would have liked for it, like, to have, like, you know, Anakin Skywalker come back as a Force ghost or something. A Force ghost, and you know, like, and we could have had like him talking to his son and all that, because you know that's who Kylo Ren is obsessed with Darth Vader. Which, by the way, they never build up, you know, exactly why he wants to, like, why he's obsessed with being like his dad. I mean, yeah, they mentioned that Luke Skywalker tried to kill him in his sleep, but I'm just like, it still doesn't explain why he's obsessed with his father and all that, or not his father, his grandfather, but I don't know. I just think it would have made more sense to have, you know, Anakin Skywalker's ghost come back instead of, you know, having that, because there was a scene like that. Now it had the Clone Wars Anakin's voice. It didn't actually have the Hayden Christensen voice actor voicing him, but it still would have been cool, you know, to see and all that. But that was a missed opportunity, and so basically Rey and Kylo Ren are, you know, dealing with Palpatine. Palpatine, you know, gets defeated by Rey because Rey uses two lightsabers and literally, you know, fucking electrocutes Palpatine to death. The same way he got defeated the first. Well, he didn't get. He got somewhat defeated the first time. I mean, he was in Revenge of the Sith. He was actually he was stalling Mace Windu, so you know, he was stalling Mace Windu so Anakin could turn to the dark side. But in this movie, I hate how he's defeated. He's defeated with fucking lightning, like the same way he used against Mace Windu, making him make the same mistake twice. Despite, you know, the first time more so, I think. I mean, it could have been a mistake, but I think the movie was the Revenge of the Sith movie was trying to get him to stall Mace Windu, trying to get Anakin to turn against Mace Windu, so he could kill Mace Windu and make Anakin feel guilty, and then him turn to the dark side. But I don't know. But overall, though, this is basically fucking it. And then, like, you know, again, like, apparently, I guess Rey's now called Rey Skywalker. I really just don't fucking get, like, why does she need to change her name? Why couldn't she be Rey Palpatine? Like, why did she fucking change her name to Skywalker? I really don't get that. I guess they threw it in there because the movie's called The Rise of Skywalker and all that, and that's basically the end of the movie. Oh, and by the way, I didn't bring this up either, but apparently there's also scenes at the end of the movie where, like, Finn apparently can sense stuff like the Force and stuff, but we never see that, so, which is a shame because I would like Finn to be a Jedi. That would have been cool, but I don't know. But that's basically the movie. So Yeah, this movie is just all over the fucking place. This movie is fucking all over the place. It's not frustrating like the last movie, but while the last movie had fucking somewhat good scenes, like despite some of them being very cringe, like Leia slapping Poe and fucking them running away from the damn enemies and fucking, like having, like, I didn't bring up Finn and his Finn, I don't remember who the other person was, but Finn and like the other character were like going to this casino, which goes nowhere. But like, basically though, they basically in those movies, in that movie, there was frustrating scenes. This movie is just more confusing than anything. But I gotta say, since the last movie at least had some good scenes with like the visual, like the talk with like with Kylo Ren talking to to Rey and stuff through the Force. This movie did it worse, and like while the last movie also had an interesting lightsaber battle like with Luke Skywalker. This movie, although the lightsaber battle is somewhat interesting, this movie I think it's worse. It wasn't great in The Last Jedi either, but it was at least a little bit better. And there was also a scene too in the where Snoke appeared, which by the way I didn't bring up that Snoke apparently is Palpatine because that makes sense, but there were some good scenes in there, but most of it was god-awful. This movie, there's like fucking nothing that I could really go back to in this movie. There's like fucking nothing. Like, I hate to say it, but yeah, there's like nothing to go back to. Like there's nothing to go back to. It's just basically, I mean, there's that one scene with like, that one scene with, with Kylo Ren and Rey fighting, but that I didn't feel like that battle was that great, and yeah, that's pretty much really it. And there's not even really there's hardly any fucking action sequences in this movie at all, while the other ones had action sequences. So yeah, I gotta say, this movie is definitely getting a bad and 0 points. Yeah, this movie was just fucking a waste of time. This movie was a fucking waste of time. Which is a real shame because I mean, if it weren't, I mean, maybe they build this stuff up more, it still wouldn't make much sense. But like Palpatine being Rey's granddaughter and all, I mean Rey's grandpa and all that, but it still would make a little bit more sense that they build this shit up. But no, they just throw it all at the last movie. But I guess that's what happens when you have like 3 different directors fucking directing a damn movie, like a movie franchise. But I don't know, but this is just bad. Well, I know that The Last Jedi got a higher score than this movie, and this one got 0, while The Last Jedi got 16 points. This movie is just, this movie may not be as bad, despite getting a lower score, but because it didn't piss me off as bad as The Last Jedi, but I still was just very bored. Not bored, I mean confused watching this movie. I was confused. I was really confused on what was going on, and this movie's just all over the place. I probably sound like I'm all over the place fucking talking about this movie, but I don't really know. I guess we're gonna go ahead and and grade the sequel trilogy in general, I guess. So, anywho, this is basically the sequel trilogy reviewed, basically. I reviewed the sequel trilogy, and I may be sounding kind of all over the place, but after fucking talking about this pile of garbage movie or this freaking trilogy in general, yeah, you're probably not surprised why I sound funny, but yeah, I sound all over the place. But anywho, I should probably go ahead and say the scores here. So, The Force Awakens got 52 points, The Last Jedi got 16 points, and The Rise of Skywalker got 0 points. So it's no surprise, but this franchise here, this one is getting 0 points. Yes, this trilogy here is getting 0 points. This trilogy here was a fucking waste of time. This could have been great. It could have been fucking great. I mean, if maybe George Lucas directed or something like he was supposed to, it could have probably been great. But no, they had to stab George Lucas in the back. They promised him he would, if he sold it to them, he could fucking direct the movies. But no, they wouldn't let him do that, and they basically kicked him out the door, and they fucking decided to do their own movies, and look what happened. We have a fucking pile of shit, which is this damn trilogy here. And it's a shame, because as the movies went on, they got fucking worse and worse. And although the Rise of Skywalker is not as bad as The Last Jedi, it's just fucking confusing as hell. I'd rather be confused and frustrating, really frustrated, but I'm still frustrated of how confusing the Rise of Skywalker is too. It's just all confusing, it really is. It's all fucking confusing as hell. I really just don't get that at all. I really don't get why they thought it was a good idea to do this to these characters. They turned all these characters unlikable. They had no story. They decided to have 3 different people direct the damn movies, which makes no sense. And then we have, and then they had George Lucas to do it. I mean, I'm sure George Lucas's movies probably wouldn't have been great either, knowing the prequels, despite me liking the prequels, but they probably would have been as well received, but they probably would have been a lot better than what we got here. So yeah, I gotta say, this is just a fucking dumpster fire, and I'm just fucking done with Star Wars. I think I'm just done talking about any more Star Wars at this point. I'll go back. I'll make probably Star Wars videos here in the future, but I'm done reviewing these damn movies. I'm still gonna review the holiday special despite I hear it being bad, and then that goes for the Clone Wars movie and Rebels movie. I'll still review those, but from here on out, I'm not reviewing any more Star Wars stuff because I hear a lot of it is bad. I hear we have some good stuff here and there with The Mandalorian and all that, and then we have, I think there was another show called Andor, which I hear was good, but the rest of the shit I hear is bad. So, yeah, I also hear the Bad Batch show is pretty good too, but I just don't think it's worth it anymore. I don't think it's worth to go back. I don't really want to suffer through all this stuff. It's just not worth it. But I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and go for the notes here though, because I need to wrap this up because my throat's hurting from talking so much. But we're gonna go ahead and go to the notes. So the sequel trilogy notes. I don't really have a lot to say that's very positive. I think it's mostly negative stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this. So the first thing, though, I want to talk about is the lightsaber battles. My God, are they fucking awful in this movie. They are not in this trilogy. They're fucking awful. They're not horrible. There are some decent fights, but they're so bad compared to what we got before. They're so bad. I feel like the villains, Kylo Ren, I didn't bring this up, but Kylo Ren as a villain, he really sucks. I hate how they go back and forth with him. They fucking he gets his mask destroyed, only for him to rebuild it in the Rise of Skywalker, which makes it very hard to treat him as a threat, But I just really hate what they done to Kylo Ren. I hate that, and he started off as a decent villain. He wasn't great. I hated how Rey kind of just defeated him and all that. I kind of sucked. I would like for him to be more of a threat. Maybe he defeated her, and then the ground split and all that instead of her defeating him. It makes no sense. And you could argue that Rey's supposed to be Palpatine's daughter, but they never mentioned it at all. They never fucking hinted at it or anything. So I'm why does it matter? Why couldn't Because with Luke Skywalker and Anakin and all that, they struggle with things. They were great, powerful Jedis, but they had moments where they struggled. Rey doesn't feel like she struggles at all. So yeah, I gotta say, yeah, the lightsaber battles really do suck in this movie. I mean, the original trilogy, they had problems too, like, and even the prequel movies, they had some bad Jedi fights with like General Grievous and stuff. But like for the most part, they were really good. They were really good, and you can argue the original trilogy was not as good because of the technology they had at the time, but they still had really good fights. Here, they just fucking suck. They just fucking suck. And then I gotta say, the locations in this movie, in these movies, are not unique. They don't feel unique at all. They just don't feel unique. They all feel very bland and boring and all that. Like, I don't feel like they look fucking unique. They just look all boring. Like, we get, like, The Last Jedi, we have a scene where they're on this desert planet, where we have, have them, like, with red sand and all that, and, it's red sand and all that, like, yay, red sand. I don't know, I mean, I sound kind of cringed here, but I'm just cringe fucking talking about this, but it's true, though. I mean, it may look kind of cool with the red sand and all that, but it just looks bland. I mean, maybe the Rise of Skywalker, we did have they were inside the broken Death Star and all that, and then we had a scene with Palpatine, but the location's ruined by the fucking constant, like, flickering from, like, the lightning and stuff. It just fucking looks bad. It fucking looks terrible. And yes, the movies are also all over the place. The movies themselves, like, because they were directed by multiple different people, they are fucking all over the place. They have no story at all. Basically, the first one was just a rip-off of A New Hope. It really was. With, like, the Death Star and all that. They had the Death Star and all that, and then they had, them talking about the Last Jedi, despite, that the original trilogy was about the Last Jedi. This should have had, this should actually have had, a different take on this. It should have, I think they should have expanded it a bit more, but I don't really get it. It's just freaking stupid and all that. But yeah, it's just a fucking rip-off. Like, it's a rip-off of basically the original trilogy with stormtroopers and all that, and it could work, like, again with, like, Finn being secretly a stormtrooper and stuff, but they kind of forgot about that by The Rise of Skywalker. But yeah, they kind of forgot about that by the time The Rise of Skywalker came out. They kind of just forgot about that. But, like, I mean, I feel like they could have just had maybe different, enemies or something instead of having stormtroopers again. I don't know. Maybe the rebels could have had the droids. That would have been cool. Maybe flip-flop it around. I don't know. It makes no sense. And yeah, I already talked about the fourth thing I wanted to talk about. I talked about it with the third. So. Also, I gotta say, this is actually something I noticed too. There's actually, like, really no character development either, I feel like. There's no character development in these movies either. Like, like Rey is just all of a sudden very powerful and all that. They don't build her up with the Force and all that. They just make her, a very powerful. I don't mind her being powerful, but she doesn't seem to struggle that much at all. I mean, she struggled a little bit, like when when Snoke, like, was pushing her around with the Force and all that. But for the most part, Rey doesn't really have any unique qualities where she improves as a character. Finn being a stormtrooper and all that, but again, that was in The Force Awakens. They kind of just push him to the side in The Last Jedi. And then by The Rise of Skywalker, they reveal he can sense the Force, well, he can sense stuff and all that. He secretly has the Force, but they never they bring that up at the very end of the movie, and he just they never, they bring up at the end of the movie, and then, the movie's over, I'm not sure why they brought it up. I don't know if they were planning on making a fourth movie or not, but I don't think they were. I think they were just going with 3 movies, but they were just like tossing ideas in there. But yeah, it was just really bad. Like, and then like again the characters who returned from the characters who returned from the. But yeah, they were just returning from the original trilogy and all that. Like they seem all unlikable. Like Leia just running away from her and her crew were just running away from the Empire and all that, and the Last Jedi. They're just running away from it. They state that and Poe's like trying to get them to go fight, and then and all that, and they don't even bring up that they'll have enough troops or anything. They don't bring that up at all. They just go run away from it. And then like Luke is just an unlikable bum who just lives on a fucking rock island or something. Han Solo is just runs away from the Republic. They make them all fucking cowards, which is a real shame because in the original trilogy they were really good characters who had to struggle, but they with certain things and all that. But they were really good characters. And then they also just make shit up. They make shit up as they go along with the Force. Yes, they make shit up. They basically like have Luke Skywalker, like I mentioned earlier, just use the Force and like clone himself or something on the planet, like where Kylo Ren is going to fight them, so he can stall them instead of having him go fight them himself. And then they also use teleportation and all that, and I just don't really get this shit at all. I don't get it, like why they do that. And then they do all that. I mean, I know that like they had like some Force stuff and all that, but like they have like one scene where Rey actually fucking dies. She literally dies. Like there's one scene where Kylo Ren is getting healed by Rey in The Rise of Skywalker, despite that he literally just tried to kill her and all that. But at least he was still alive. But Rey literally fucking died, and somehow Kylo Ren's able to bring back people from dead. I mean, I know Palpatine brought that up. He brought that up in in Revenge of the Sith and all that. But like, I mean, if they can just bring back people from the dead, they could have brought back they could have brought back, I don't know, Qui-Gon Jinn or Luke Skywalker could have brought back Darth Vader from the dead. It just makes no sense. So yeah, I just don't fucking get this shit at all, and I'm just ready to move on to the next thing real quick. So yeah. Now I wanted to I should have done this when I did the I should have actually done this when I actually but I actually should have done this when I had the when I was talking about the other trilogy, but I kind of forgot about it. But it's all right. I'm talking about it here. So what I do here is usually when I'm done reviewing a franchise or a studio, when it comes to Star Wars, there's actually other movies in Lucasfilm, but when it comes to Star Wars, I think there's enough movies and all that to just do one of these. But I basically rate the movies on good, like the worst and the best of each thing. When it comes to this, it's the trilogy. So the prequel trilogy, I think the worst one in my opinion, the one that deserves the clown, which should be a Joker, but I don't have a Joker as emoji, so I use a clown. But I think the Attack of the Clones is definitely the worst one in the prequel trilogy, just because it takes forever for them to actually. It takes about an hour in the movie for them to actually do fighting and all that. I mean, there's some good moments here and there, but like you might as well just skip half the movie and just watch the other half, like. Because, I said the movie was all right because I think it does get really good towards halfway in, but like, and they do have a great scene where they're fighting this bounty hunter and all that at the beginning, but it just feels like it just takes forever. It like drags on for a long time and all that, and I just think, it's the weakest one in the original trilogy. I mean, in the prequel trilogy. Then we have the Crown, which is the Revenge of the Sith. This is actually my favorite movie of the prequel trilogy. And I think a lot of people can agree. That goes for Attack of the Clones, too. People can probably agree with that being the weakest one, too. But Revenge of the Sith, though, is just, this movie here is just, I think it's a lot better. Like, it really wraps up Anakin's story very well. And I really like the lightsaber battles. The lightsaber battles are really cool in this movie and all that. And the locations in this movie are fantastic. They're all really fantastic and all that. And I don't feel like it drags on as long. It still has some problems here and there. Like General Grievous's battle, although it's really cool when he's not fighting with a lightsaber, his lightsaber battle goes by way too fast and all that. But with a limited technology back then, I can probably see why his battle kind of sucked, but with the lightsabers. But it would have been cool to have it go on a little bit longer before he actually starts throwing Obi-Wan around and freaking hurting him and all that. But I don't know. But it still has some problems. But I think Revenge of the Sith is still pretty cool. And then we got oops, I forgot to delete that one. Sorry about that. I thought I deleted all of the extra title cards. Sorry about that. But anywho, now we got probably now this is it. This is where the this is actually the back. I call these the backstory trilogy. This is the backstory trilogy movies. Now, I know technically, these are like the one-off backstory trilogy movies, but like, I know that technically they had Anakin Skywalker and all that. They had, him and all that with the, and his backstory, but those weren't one-off films. Those were films that were like, those were films that were, 3 films that were telling a backstory. These two, the Solo movie and Rogue One are both the backstory movies, the one-off movies, but where they have like one movie and that's it, But Rogue One is probably my least favorite of the 2. I still think it was really good. I still think they told a good story and all that. I don't think it's as interesting as Solo. Now, some people might disagree with me on this. Some people might disagree with me, which is okay. But because Solo didn't do very well in the box office, but I just think Solo is a bit better. And I think they actually go to more locations in Solo and all that. So I just think it's a bit better. Speaking of Solo, yeah, Solo is definitely a better movie in my opinion. I don't have much to say about these 2 movies. They kind of have similar things. They just tell a backstory and all that. But I just think the Solo stuff is more interesting with Solo. Like showing how he gets the Luminous Falcon and all that, and then like it's the scene where he's with Lando in like a casino and all that, or not a casino, but like betting with him on stuff. I think it's really cool and all that, and they're both these movies aren't both great, but I don't think they're as good as the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, but they're still good movies. So, at least Disney was able to at least give us a couple good movies, but I don't know. But also, we have, now we gotta get to the original trilogy. And I gotta say, I think A New Hope is the weakest one of the 3. Now, that doesn't mean this movie is bad. This movie is still really good. Like, it's still really good. Yeah, it's still really good. But I gotta say, it does have some problems with it. Like, I feel like the lightsaber battle with Obi-Wan is kind of, it's like the weakest one of the George Lucas movies. I would say the movies in general, but the sequel trilogy have awful battle like fights with lightsabers, but I still think it's the weakest one. And then we got, when it comes to George Lucas movies, by the way, but it's the weakest one. But then we got, the fact that I feel like Leia and Han Solo's, relationship stuff is kind of cringe. Like, I feel like the relationship's kind of cringe and all that, and I feel like they I didn't bring that up for Attack of the Clones, but yeah, I felt like, Anakin and Padme's relationship, like, love relationship was cringe too, but it's not as cringe here, but I still hate how, like, they start off with Han Solo basically wanting to ditch Princess Leia, making him kind of an unlikable jackass, and all that, instead of trying to save her from dying, I kind of think they make him a little too unlikable here. But I just think overall the rest of it's really good. I do like, again, I like them showing Obi-Wan, showing, Luke the Force and all that, which is pretty cool, but I don't know. But yeah, this is probably the weakest one in my opinion, and if you guys want to hear me talk about these movies, I've done reviews on all of them, so yeah. Now some people might disagree with me on this one, but like as well, but I gotta say, I think Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the movies. I just think it's really nice how Luke Skywalker is basically, has faith in Vader and all that. I just think he's got great faith in Vader, and I just think it's really cool. And then we get cool moments with the Ewoks and all that, which I still think they look like freaking schnauzers / bears, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I do think they still look like a schnauzer and a bear had sex and had an Ewok. But I don't know, it still looks pretty cool. I still think it was really cool and all that. I like the job of the hut scenes and all that. I just think it's really cool. And I especially like the ending where, like, Palpatine gets thrown off the cliff and dies, supposedly, despite what the sequel trilogy did, but I don't know, but anywho, now we gotta move on to I figured I might as well do this too, despite that none of the movies were actually good, but I figured I might as well do this just because. But The Last Jedi, in my opinion, I told you guys, The Last Jedi is worse than the it's worse, in my opinion, than The Rise of Skywalker, just because The Rise of Skywalker was confusing, while The Last Jedi is confusing and frustrating at the same time. Yeah, I hate what they did to all the characters. They made Luke Skywalker very unlikable. They made Rey they made Leia unlikable, and I just freaking hate it. And I hate that they kill Snoke off and all that. Like, I feel like Snoke could have been a great villain. They just kill him off, and they reveal the next movie that Palpatine was actually Snoke, like a clone Snoke. Snoke was a clone of Palpatine. I kind of hate that, but I mean, Palpatine might have been a clone. I think he was a clone too, because that's why he. But he didn't look. I don't know. I don't know if they mentioned he was a clone though, but I do, it just feels like lazy writing and all that, and I just think this movie is just worse. I think, it like bounces from like 3 different plots at once. It doesn't work, and well, actually, it bounces to 4 different plots, because it bounces from like showing like a scene, like it shows Rey scene training with Luke Skywalker, like, because yeah, Luke finally decides to train her after refusing for the Jedi's dying, despite Luke never giving up on the Force and all that, but in the original trilogy. But then we get the stuff with Leia and all that, and then we get stuff with Finn going to this ship going to this casino that goes nowhere and all that. Because they basically go to find this guy, and apparently he disappears at the scene and all that, and they reveal another guy who basically uses them and all that, and it just goes nowhere. And then we get scenes of Kylo Ren with Snoke and all that. So they freaking bounce. I think they just bounce off too many plots at once, and it just makes it not only frustrating and confusing, but very forced as well. So yeah, that's why this one's my least favorite. And then we get probably the best one, in my opinion, the best one in the trilogy, which which is not saying much because it's still very average too. But I just found this one to be more enjoyable. I thought the characters were not as unlikable. I felt like Solo leaving the like ditching the Republic was stupid, but I still think it was really cool to see the characters return and all that. And I just felt like Finn being a stormtrooper, despite it being kind of rushed and forced, I still felt it was really good and all that. And Kylo Ren was probably not as bad in this movie, but since it's been a little while since I've seen that movie, you'll have to watch my review to talk about it. So yeah, but it's still, I just think it's just the best one in my opinion, despite it having a lot of flaws too. I mean, I want to watch it again either, but yeah. So and also you may be questioning why there's a female character like emoji here. I have a female character emoji here because I figured this trilogy here is actually focusing on Rey, who's a female character. I figured giving a queen, is a lot better. So that's why there's a queen emoji and a king emoji. That's why. But yeah, so that's why that's that. But anywho, though, I really don't know what else to really say. I just think, it's sad that this Star Wars is pretty much dead and all that. I mean, unfortunately, though, yeah, unfortunately, I feel like it's dead, and I feel like as long as Disney is in control of Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy's there, I don't feel like I have a desire to see any more Star Wars, like new Star Wars content. So, I mean, I'll go back and watch Rebels and all that, despite I hear mixed reviews on it and all that, but I'll go review that because that was before. But anything that came out, after 2019, like, and all that, like the Ahsoka show and all that that's coming out and all that, I'm not watching it just because I'm just burnt out on Star Wars and all that. But I will go back and watch some of the older stuff. But yeah, at least we're freaking done with these movies. At least we will not have to worry about them making any more Star Wars movies, like anymore. We're finally done. We're finally done with these movies. But yes, I actually forgot one more thing too. I forgot about this, but before I go. But yeah, I forgot to mention this, but I should actually give the Star Wars movies a score too, because I actually forgot to do that. But I think overall the Star Wars movies, for the prequels and the original trilogy, I think I'm gonna give them 91 points for sure. Yeah, I think giving them 91 points is pretty good. The reason why I can't believe I actually forgot about this, but since I've been focusing so much on talking about the other crap, I kind of forgot about this. But yeah, I wanted to give the Star Wars movies a score. But yeah, I think 91 points is definitely good there for the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. Now, if you're wanting me to talk about the sequel trilogy, personally, I don't think the sequel trilogy is canon in my opinion because it's dog shit and it's not made by George Lucas, so I don't count it. But if you guys are curious to what I want to give it, well, I'm giving it 63 points if I include the sequel trilogy too. Yeah, if I include the sequel trilogy too, yeah, it's getting 63 points. But that's a pretty big drop, but that's because the sequel trilogy was just a waste of time and didn't have anything to do with, I felt like it didn't have anything to do with, George Lucas and all that, and I know that George Lucas is out of the picture and all that, but he was supposed to direct the new movies, but he didn't, so yeah, but I don't know what to say here, but now I should be done with this. Now I should be done, hopefully. Hopefully this time I'm done. Anywho, I'm done now with these movies. I don't have to review them anymore. Now I'm done, and thank God there are no more live action movies and no more movies for the sequel trilogy. Yay! Wait a second. No, this can't be right. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. God damn it.